I'm really excited for today. We're doing this webinar with Carpentry Australia. It's really exciting, and yeah, we've been sort of looking forward to it. We've been working with Carpentry Australia for a number of years now, and just really excited for today. It's just a really good initiative.
Hi.
Hey, Felicity, how you going?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very good, very
just
good.
a bit of a stiff setup. Just had to quickly set up, so that's all right.
We're not winning any Oscars today. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. So that's all right. Don't mind if I have to jump in and out a little bit. That's all right.
You're absolutely okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, probably we don't have the
we have people from all over New South Wales joining us today.
Well, we use that as a resource.
Fantastic.
Very exciting.
Very good. Really looking forward to it. I think the really exciting part about our role is when we're talking to people in the industry, the amount of confusion that's out there, the amount of really bad information that comes out, and some of it's really outdated information. So we really enjoy doing these webinars because we can sort of, at the end of this, 100% guarantee at the end of it, it's going to be really clear. We can get rid of all the myths and just make it nice and clear for everyone to walk away. And it means you can get rid of that Google, get rid of, Googling things and reading misinformation and everything. We specifically get 5 to 15 licenses every week, so we know what we're talking about, and hopefully you guys will walk away with a really clear indication of exactly what to expect and what your future looks like and if licensing's for you.
And I think it's also a great way for those of you that are in apprenticeships and equivalent. It's also a great opportunity to forward plan, to think ahead of time for what you need for the future. If that is something you want, whether you know it now or know it in the future, you set yourself up for success just by having the information, ahead of time and at your fingertips, and get all your documentation, etc. All your ducks in a line. No, what's the phrase? All your ducks in a row.
In a row. Yeah, one thing that we get very often is we have people that come to us and they've just spent a year doing a Cert 4, a year doing a diploma, starting the advanced diploma, and they give us a call and we say, well, do you know you could have actually got licensed 3 years ago? And we can save you that 1 to 3 years. For other people, they start the registration process and they just don't have the background for registration, so they're effectively wasting their time. The negative is that we do turn down 8 out of 10 people that contact us because they're just not ready for registration yet. But what we will do is give you an absolute guaranteed pathway for exactly what you need. And that's really what we're hoping to achieve today. So it's really exciting. It's a great initiative by Carpentry Australia. I think that with the movement of women in construction and the ladies that are coming through, particularly through carpentry, it's really exciting. We're getting right on the early stage of that because that wave of female chippies are coming through, and these ladies are going to be ready for registration. There's going to be a wave of them getting registered in 3, 4, 5 years. We've had the privilege of helping about 30 to 40 ladies get their license over the last couple of years, and I'm really excited to encourage that wave to come through. And we get a bit excited in Victoria. We have to do classes, and if we get more than 2 women in a class, that's really exciting for us because it bumps up those numbers. But yeah, it's definitely on the improve.
Well, brilliant. On that note, Nathan and Bianca, I'm going to take a moment to just do a brief introduction. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah Curl, and I'm one of the community relations managers at Carpentry Australia, and I work very closely with women, minority groups, and anyone really who wants to become a chippy, but also to help you through that journey and help you do things like get your builder's license, progress in the industry, whether that's supervisory roles or higher, even if it comes to starting your own business. At Carpentry Australia, we are a membership-based organisation, so if you are an apprentice, you can join for free. But additionally, all of our membership services, they allow us to support you to be the best that you can be within the industry. Our goal is to keep the hammer swinging longer. So we really want to see you look after your physical, mental, and financial health and really see you succeed in this industry, because it's something that will be around for years and years and years to come. It's a fantastic career, and one that's really, really rewarding in a whole multitude of ways. I'm going to start by doing a very quick acknowledgement of country. I am personally coming to you from the land of the Gadigal people in the Eora Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may be with us here today. Wherever you are in Australia, welcome you all to join us. I'm going to do, just to let you know a little bit about the CarpentHER program. This webinar is for anyone and everyone who would like to get their builder's license. There, jobs know no genders. But what we would really like to see through the CarpentHER program is to help facilitate opportunities for women and diverse groups to join this wonderful trade. We'd also really like to support all of you into being the best versions of yourselves and as builders that you can be. So as our first initiative of the CarpentHER program, we will be running quarterly webinars on how to get your builder's license across New South Wales. And to help us on that journey, we like to make sure that we are giving you the most accurate, most up-to-date information that we possibly can. And in that case, this is going to come from the fabulous Nathan and Bianca, who are from Builders Registration. They are our partners at Carpentry Australia, but first and foremost, they are also the experts, as Nathan was saying briefly in the little bit of chatter we were having before we opened this up. They don't say yes to everyone. They don't qualify everyone. I think that's a really important thing to know. We want our builders to be out there doing the right thing by everyone, and that starts with this qualification as well. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Nathan and Bianca.
Thank you very much. Now, I've clearly you can hear by Bianca and I've obviously got the biggest mouth and the one speaking the loudest. But Bianca is actually our new Sydney expert, New South Wales expert when it comes. So I'm going to hand over to Bianca. Bianca, if you could share your screen, please.
Absolutely. Okay. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So, first of all, got a bit of an introduction of builder registration. So I'll hand back over to Nathan, and he can give you guys a bit of an introduction of who we are and whatnot.
Yeah, so builder registration has been around for 11 years. We've got over 2,500 licenses. We average 5 to 15 licenses every week, and every week we have at least 400 students in training. So it's really exciting for us. We had our first female go through our system 9 years ago and got through and got registered, and that was like an achievement for that year, and it was a really good milestone for us. Now it's not something that we celebrate as much because it's just part of the course. We should have women coming through every month, and that's just really exciting for us. It's becoming the new norm. So that's just really good progress. Builder Reg is a national company. Every state is very, very different when it comes to licensing. And when it comes to qualifications like Cert 4s and diplomas, they're all national. But a Cert 4 and a diploma means very, very different status in Sydney, New South Wales versus Melbourne, Victoria versus Perth, WA. And one privilege we have is just getting absolute up-to-date information where we can give you really clear pathway for how you can get registered. And we just love what we do. We're very passionate about it. As you can sort of hear the way we talk about it. Our slogan is changing lives, and it might sound a little bit corny, but it does open up a whole new realm to your career. And Bianca and I are both very career-driven people. We take our careers quite seriously, and working in professional development in that carpentry construction space is just a privilege that we have. So that's a little bit about Builder Reg. I could talk for about 45 to an hour to 45 days about Builder Reg, but let's stick to Carpentry Australia.
Wonderful. So moving from that, I have a bit of a presentation that I'll show you. I'll give you some information on different things that you need to obviously know about to get your builder's license. And at the end, we'll have some questions and whatnot, and Nathan and I can definitely answer them for you. So to begin with, obviously any license has requirements. Now, to be able to get a builder's license and when is it required, it's a matter of working on a project that is more than $5,000. If you're working on that, that's when you need your license. Keep in mind, residential building works, obviously that comes into the category of making sure that it's a dwelling. That could be, renovations, decorating, a whole list of things. But as long as if you plan to work over that $5,000, you will need a license.
The funny thing about the $5,000 is that $5,000 limit was set 10, 20, 30 years ago. And back then, $5,000, you could actually build a lot with $5,000. Nowadays, the common joke is that a doghouse or a kennel costs $5,000. So it's a very outdated figure, but unfortunately, it is the figure that we work with. A lot of you guys would be thinking, well, a lot of us are doing work above that. And there's rego world and there's the real world. In rego world, you absolutely have to be licensed. Whereas in the real world, a lot of people do work above that. And we say for anyone that's, in their 55, 60, and they've got a couple of years to go, they've got through all that way, mate, they can just keep doing it. But if you're younger than that and you've got a good 10, 20, 30-year career ahead of you, get registered early, get it out the way, and then you can take on more exciting projects. And it means that you're not declining opportunities because it puts a real ceiling on your career.
Absolutely. So obviously, what type of work is required with your builder's license? Very simple. I could list many in this category, but, it's your dwelling, your carport, your garages, your shed, bathroom, kitchen, laundry renovations, really general building works. And again, there's a whole list of random things that, I could go on and on about, but these are your main ones. And if you're working in these, and it's over that $5,000, definitely try and get registered now. Like, it will set you up for your future. Simple. Who can get your builder's license? It all comes down to qualification, experience, and documents. Qualifications. Have you got your Cert 4? If you have, then yeah, that's step one. You're definitely starting to get qualified to get your license. Have you got 2 years relevant experience? Can you provide 10 years of employment history? That's another tick on the notch of getting your license. And then lastly, it's just some documents that are required. I will go into these documents a little bit later, but they're the main steps. You can do that. You have a higher success rate of getting registered.
Yeah. Feel free to keep asking. List any questions you like in the question tab. We will have questions at the end, but just list them away and we'll be able to knock them off as we go. Feel free to ask any questions specific to your scenario, and we'll address them at the end.
Getting your builder's license is really it can be a simple process. There's a lot within it, but if you keep it simple, it will make it easy. First step, obtain all the documents that are required. Those documents can be, an application form, you'll need experience form, a whole list of things. Again, I will go through that. Completing the documents. And then after that, you will need to obviously supply your ID, obviously, to verify who you are, verify that you've got the correct qualifications. Sometimes additional documents is required, but that's all listed within obviously the documents that they get you to fill out. And then it's lodgement. Very simple process and very easy once you follow the steps that are outlined within it. Now, obviously, getting your builder's license, there is many costs involved. And it all really comes down to what type of license you wish to go for and how long you want your license to last. Pretty much, you're going for a building side contractor's license. Every license has a 1, 3, or 5 years expiry. If you want to get a supervisor's license, again, 1, 3, or 5 year license. Then, on the other hand, you also have in the building industry, you've got a trade or specialist license, and that is more for if you wish to do the building and the kitchen renos and laundry and stuff like that. That comes under like a trade or a specialist license. So therefore, you would go either a contractor or you can obtain a supervisor's license. And again, they are 1, 3, or 5 years duration for the license. They also offer a certificate. So obviously, if you were to get your license, you would get a physical copy. They do also do digital copies now. However, they also give you the option, of a certificate. That is an additional cost, and that's more so. That's just, you get your Cert 4 certificate. It's much the same. Just saying, I've obtained this license. Here's a certificate. Now, obviously, any process, any application you do, whether that's a home loan, builder's license, everything has a timeline. Some are smaller, some are longer. At the moment, and this is why another reason why Nathan and I will always say, get it in now. It'll set you up for your future, because they do have a 10 to 12 week lead time. And that's just growing because everybody is applying for licenses. They want to start their career and really move forward in their journey. So that is either going to go down or it's only going to get higher. At the moment, it just varies. If you're put in an application and they've come back to you and have said they need additional documents, and that being, they want some toolbox minutes to prove that you were in a toolbox meeting or you were doing admin for a project and just random things, that could blow out again. So there's many different things that could make that shorter or longer.
A key reason why Bianca's job's never boring is that they tend to have a flavor of the month. So what happens is that they can, all of a sudden, they'll start declining or requesting further information for a completely different subject that we've never heard of before. And then so we adjust our applications to amend this, and then all of a sudden they stop asking that and they go on a different theme. So again, getting that application, please, if you've got a project that's starting in 16 weeks, don't wait until you get it, because it is not a smooth process. It is very unpredictable. We strongly encourage the day that you're eligible for the license, go for it, not when you need it to start a project. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people basically call us and say, let's lodge it. What can I do to get it in quicker? And it's just something that we cannot improve. It is a government-run organization, so they have set timeframes. They cannot show bias to anyone. So everyone goes through exactly the same queue. So as soon as you're eligible and dealing with a company like Carpentry Australia, you're going to get really good advice. They in a position where they get all this key information. So sometimes that 10 to 12 weeks can blow out to 16 weeks. We've actually, in Victoria, I've actually seen it blow out to 6 to 9 months at times. And especially as licensing gets more heavily regulated, and the sort of builders that are getting away with doing work above 5,000, they're getting tighter and tighter on. The licensing demand is becoming higher and higher, meaning we fully expect that those timeframes will exasperate over the next couple of years.
Absolutely. So obviously when you get your license, you need to maintain it. And what I mean by that is every license eventually has an expiry date. Now, when it gets too close to that expiry date, you will be notified. I think it's between 6 weeks, you'll get a notice saying this is about to expire. And this is, they tend to get a little bit slack with this, but generally you will get an SMS as well. But 6 weeks, you will definitely get a notice saying it's about to expire. If you don't renew it and it does overlap, you will have to pretty much apply again. So I will express very highly, do not let it overlap, because they don't like it. So, but on top of that, every license you lose. you lose your wallet, they get you change details, damage, anything. They only allow you 7 days to update your information. So that is another, have to get onto it pretty quickly. And again, if you need a replacement, need to change details or anything like that, there is an application that you need to put in to be able to get those details changed. And again, that has its own lead time. It's not as lengthy as a normal license, but it can be, you know, a number of weeks.
I can't stress how critical this is, because it's a government-run agency. Common sense and reasoning doesn't apply here. If they mess up your phone number, if they mess up your address, they stuff up the letter, they make an error, and you've got nothing, you are completely the victim here, it is still your fault. So there's no forgiveness here in any way. What I highly encourage is that the day you pay that renewal, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever you choose, right? That day you pay it, you will set a reminder for 1 month before in your phone or your calendar, wherever it is, to let you know that if you haven't been notified by now, because as Bianca said, 6 weeks before you get notified, so 4 weeks prior, you should have your own notification. Do not rely on them sending it through, because their care factor on whether you got that is absolutely minimal. And odds are you won't know your license expired. You've then put in a application for a permit, or you've gone for a new job. Turns out it expired a month ago, and that cripples your business. It's incredibly important that we take that element really, really seriously. Bianca, we're just going to put pause for a sec. A few questions have come in. We can start answering those. We'll give the audience a chance to give more questions if there's follow-up. So to begin with, from Kretsch, apologies if I've pronounced that wrong. For the work experience, do you need a Cert 4 in building and construction as well as 2 years minimum relevant experience, or would either suffice? What is considered relevant experience?
So the answer to that is yes, you need both. And in terms of relevant experience, you need it. It depends what kind of license you wish to go for. If you're going for, you know, a trade, then you need to show 2 years experience within that trade. If you're going for, you know, a supervised license, well, you also need to show experience within the building industry, as well as your supervised with 2 years experience, as well. So it all just depends on what type of license, but you need to show your experience within that license.
Yeah, the way I like to explain it is the license you receive will reflect the work that you bring to the table. So whatever work you bring, that's the license you're going to get. Yeah. Abhinav, I'm studying Bachelor in Construction Management, so I can't show that study to get a license.
And this is a bit of a grey area, and this is one that Nathan and I are constantly going back to fair trading about, because to me, that is enough qualification. However, they just want to know that the required units are within that certification. So if you have a higher qualification, there's a certain amount of units that you need to complete. That is what they're after. If you've got that in that diploma, bachelor, whatever certificate, they will sometimes allow that.
Let me give you a good example, right? So a bachelor is 1,000 levels higher than a Cert 4. It's 1,000 levels, and it's fantastic that you're doing it. If you've already got a Cert 4, then just apply for your license with the experience. The bachelor, you'll always include it, because the more qualifications it makes you look like a stronger candidate. Fantastic. If you haven't got a Cert 4, here's the stupid thing, right? I'll give you a really silly example. Imagine if one module in one part of that Cert 4 was teaching you how to sweep a floor, okay? You put in your bachelor, which is 1,000,000 levels above. You put it in, they actually have the right to decline you because, hey, you haven't done the module on how to sweep a floor.
Yeah.
Now, I know that sounds really silly. So what I'd say for yourself, let's just say you come on, we took you on as a client, or you did it yourself, either way. What the advice would be giving you is, okay, if you haven't got a Cert 4 and you've got the experience, have a crack and put the application without it. There's a chance they'll come back and say, hey, get this module and come back. then we'll get the module and come back. But at least that way you have a shot with it. If you want to bulletproof yourself and guarantee you're going to pass, well, then you get the Cert 4 in its entirety, and that guarantees you. So I hope that answers your question. I like this question from Hannah. For the work experience, do you need 2 years relevant experience and 10 years work experience, or is it either or?
It's both. They want to see that you have X amount of years in being employed within the industry, as well as the experience. So, and I actually just submitted an application probably 3 weeks ago, and he only had probably about 6 years experience. However, he was able to show that full 6 years in projects that was above and beyond. So, and he was more, and I said to him, we can take our chance. And again, it's back to the whole scenario that Nathan said. You take your chance, you see what comes. They're likely to come back at us and go, can you get more experience or more employment history or whatever? And we can. He may just have to put it on hold. But because he's got X amount of experience and high experience, they may go, yeah, that's good enough for me. And the thing with fair trading, and Nathan can probably go into this a little bit more, and he did before, what the case is today, and if I got it accepted today on a license on XYZ, if I put XYZ in tomorrow, it may not work. So it's all about every assessor is different, right? And Nathan could probably explain this a little bit better than I can. It's unfortunately the luck of the draw. And we and you guys, you know what's more on what's required, you know, what you've done on site, all that sort of stuff. That is so important to show whether you've done 3 years or 10 years.
Mm.
So, and they don't really, it's hard to explain. It depends what kind of experience, I guess I'm getting at.
Okay, let's go back to the simplicity of the license you get will reflect the experience you bring to the table. An issue that we have with our carpenters particularly is carpenters tend to be a little bit on the modest side. They're not there beating their chest. They're not there. So what they do is when they fill in the forms, they put in the bare minimum, and they might only list 3 years. But a lot of our carpenters have got 10, 20 years experience, but they list the bare minimum 2 or 3 years. But do you know what happened 2 or 3 years ago? COVID happened 2 or 3 years ago. So what happened was when COVID happened, a lot of people from outside construction, they can be truck drivers, hairdressers, whatever. They've gone, you know what? We've just lost our jobs. Where's making good money? Oh, construction's making good money. Let's go work there. They've volunteered on site. They've done a lot of, and then basically built themselves up, got the bare minimum and put their application in. Now tell me, who is a stronger candidate? The guy that's just done that, or the guy or girl that's been doing it for 10 years? Well, the guy that's been doing it for 10 years is much more qualified and a much better candidate. But here's the problem with my modest carpenter. When you put your application, you've got the bare minimum history, you look like a COVID career changer. So please, this is not the time to be modest. When you're identified as a COVID career changer, the assessor is looking, okay, this is going to be one of the worst, because the COVID career changers, they're seen as bad builders. They're seen as people that aren't specialists. The people that have just come in and are highly inexperienced. What you want to do is really demonstrate, really show off how much experience and how passionate you are about your career and your industry and what good impact you're going to make in the industry. When we're lodging application, we don't just fill in the forms and put the bare minimum. We put case studies and projects and profile in there to really paint the picture of, okay, a lot of people fail this process and build a registration, turn down 8 out of 10, but this is the candidate that's going to be the strong candidate. This is why. Paint the picture, put the photos of the project, give them the visualization of projects you've done so they can look at it and be proud to be giving you a license. This is not the time to shortcut it. This is not the time to do the bare minimum. Park your modesty, get out, beat your chest, and actually show them who you are and what you're capable of, and we highly push that. I was reading a study recently, and this is more topical on the women in construction. I was reading a study recently where they talked about the difference between men and women when applying for jobs. And we'll talk a little bit about the pay gap later, but when men and women are applying for jobs, a key difference between men and women is men don't actually read the application that well. They'll look at it, I tick two out of the 10 boxes and send their application in. Whereas women tend to actually read them all, read all details, and then feel like it's not worth applying if they only tick 8 out of 10 boxes. With this, we want you putting your front foot forward. We want you to get registered as early as possible. And don't be afraid of getting knocked back or ask for more information. There's no shame in that. Get your application in early. You'll surprise yourself with how quickly you can get registered if you are coming from that carpentry profession. If you can't, we'll let you know. And if you think there's a risk with you, get the advice. We'll let you know, hey, there's a chance this could be declined. It's not the end of the world. There's no shame in it. It's not like a mark on your character or anything like that. Have a shot at it, get through. And as long as the application fee is not affecting you to put food on the table or anything silly like that, it's definitely worth the attempt because it is a life-changing thing to achieve your license.
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry, Bianca, I've just interjected. I made it go for a lot longer, and you were probably expecting that.
I was, but just on that, the other thing that I really want to make note is, so when it comes to the employment, so you can show, that you've worked at a company for 10 years. And the reason why they want to also see the experience is to make sure that you are doing doing experience within the right trade that is required. Therefore, if you're working for linen construction, but you can only show this, and this, and there's a gap in there, well, what were you doing at that time for this company? Were you a janitor? Were you a dishwasher? Do you know what I mean? That is what they want to really know, that you are actually out doing what you are applying for, not just anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I'd hate to see if there was like a young lady here that was let's call her, she finished school at 18. She's 26 years old. She's a perfect candidate to get registered. And she goes, you know what? I'm actually technically 8 years, not 10 years. I'll wait 2 years. And we're like, no, get your application in now, because getting your license 2 years earlier, how much difference does that make to your life and your career? It's worth putting it in.
Absolutely. Is there any more questions, or do you want to
just to jump in? I have a follow-up question, which I think is quite relevant, because there's a couple of people here I know from a construction management degree perspective, which is, can the 2-year work experience be unpaid or an internship type position, or does it need to be paid work that is the relevant work experience?
You can be on an apprenticeship. The only thing that it can be anyway, as long as you are working under a licensed builder.
In saying that, that's the letter of the law, and there's real world and regio world.
Yes.
I'll absolutely guarantee you that being paid on a proper community system shows that you are adding value to the builder. So I'm very hesitant to put anything that has any sort of volunteer side of it there, just because, again, it's falling down that, especially at this time, 3 years after COVID, you're going down that COVID career changer path, and assessors putting a red flag on anything like that straight away, especially when you're putting it on the front letter, which is the cover letter. Anything like that, they can decline it without even reading it. So you really want to be putting your best foot forward, putting you as the strongest candidate. And in the real world, the strongest candidate, the guys adding value, all get paid.
Okay, I think we will keep moving forward as we are crushing through this time.
Wonderful. So obviously, any application, anything in life, there's always common mistakes and things that come in the way of doing anything. So obviously, not having a qualification. If you don't have that, it's not the end. There are ways to go down to obtain that qualification so you can get your license, but it is one that does get people unstuck when it comes to it. Again, lack of experience. You could work for as many years, but all they want to know is, you had that required 2 years. Now, when it comes to putting through an application, Fair Trading will, and they're getting quite strict at this, they will reject applications or ask for more information if you can't get a referee statement signed. And that is, again, by a licensed builder that you've worked under, and that's just referee. That reference is just saying you did X, Y, and Z and whatnot, but they are cracking down in that department. We understand life gets in the way, gets busy, and this is a very common one that Nathan and I do see. You start your application, something comes up, and you don't finish it. I can't stress enough, and Nathan has already, don't let that happen. This is so important to help you in your career. Fight everything that comes your way to really, push that through that busy time to really get your license. Not everybody is able to use a computer and whatnot. There is many ways that this application can be done. You can do it paper form, obviously Fair Trading, or there's many avenues, like, as you know, what we do every day. There's many ways. Don't let not being able to operate a computer get in your knock you down. Again, no question is too hard. There's many people out there that can answer any questions. And look, they are worded in a certain way. And I guess some people do that to try and get people unstuck and, catch people out. But there's so many things in this application that, if you took the time, it's easy to understand. It's never too hard. And this is a big one. Please be truthful in everything you put on the application. They will do background checks. They will do everything in their power to catch out people that aren't being truthful. And that by saying, if you don't have the experience, don't make it up. They will check, permit numbers. They will call referees. They will call people that were on site. They will check. Everybody forgets everything, I forget to pay my radio the other day, and it's a common thing, but as Nathan said, set reminders. It is, again, really important. The other thing is once you put your application in, Fair Trading are likely to give you a call if they want more information. I know I don't like answering private numbers, but make sure you are contactable, because if they try and reach you and they can't get through, they will end the application process. So please make sure you keep on your phone and in that process, and definitely have a chat to them. Now I'll let Nathan, Nathan can really go into this part, but I just wanted to obviously say that we're here to help you as well. Builder registration, in our process, we personalize everything. We really pride ourselves on getting to know our clients. We help you put the application together. We really get to know your history and whatnot. In saying that, we also build our relationships. I can have a 20-minute conversation with my client, and I can tell you his whole career in just one phone call, and I'm able to help him do his cover letter and whatnot, because I build that relationship with my clients to help him put his best application forward. Guidance is a big thing. Everybody at Builder Reg, they offer so much guidance and support to any staff, any client, any staff. It's what we pride ourselves on. As Nathan said, our motto is changing lives, and we do that through guiding everybody. We are big on being professional, and anybody can fill out an application. However, we make sure that it is 100% professional when we go to submit it or hand it over to be submitted. We have a standard, and that professional professionalism is what our standard is. We're there for you from start to finish. So from the moment you say, can you help me, to the moment that your application is lodged, there and after, our support never ends. We are able to offer some training. Nathan can go more into what we have done in the past, but it's an option that's always there. This is Nathan's favorite one. We have a 92% success rate. And Nathan loves it. He prides himself on it, and he will tell you about it day in, day out, because that is a huge accomplishment from us as a company. And lastly, this is our passion. We want to help people, succeed in their life and in their careers. Again, we want to help change lives. I get great joy out of getting a phone call saying, oh my God, I got my license. It is such an overwhelming feeling. And, I'm a mum. It's like having your kids, do something that they've been thriving for. It is so good. We also have a bit of a dong here. So everybody gets celebrated, when they pass, or even if they don't pass. We still celebrate you to keep moving to the next stage, and, we'll help you. So it is such a good passion of ours. And in saying that, if you do need to reach out in any way, obviously Hannah can pass on some details. Our details are here. Nathan's always there. I'm available. Clinton is one of our amazing sales guys, and we're all here to help answer any questions. Even after this, if you go, hey, I've just got this random question, ask Hannah. She can pass you on to us. We're always here. And that's all I've got.
Could you stop sharing your screen for a sec, Bianca, if that's okay?
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. I did sort of want to do this on the full screen. As Bianca said, a real crazy stat we actually looked at earlier today, and we're very, very proud of our 92%. But the actual crazy thing is that our success with men versus women actually have a higher success rate than 92% when they're coming through. I think it's because I might be generalizing, but they tend to be a bit more diligent in their study, and they should make sure they've got that history. Part of what we want to talk about today was we were talking specifically to women looking for their builder's license. A line I use with my team a lot is done is better than perfect when perfect isn't done. So done is better than perfect when perfect isn't done. And a lot of people want to lodge the perfect application. And odds are you may never have a perfect application. You will never be a perfect builder. That's just how construction works. What we want to do is get you when you're at your earliest eligible to be licensed. That's when you want to start the journey, when you're eligible, not perfect, eligible. And it's a really big stumbling block that affects both men and women, where they're just intimidated by the process. It's uncomfortable. It's uncommon. We fear failure as naturally as human beings. It is not actually a failure. It is just a pushback for you to relaunch and do it again. And everyone's pathway is going to be different. Everyone's going to have a different experience when they're going through the licensing process. The thing is, you either have an experience or you don't have an experience. And I'd urge you to please have an experience and go through it. You can engage in builder registration. You can talk to us. You can do it yourself. It is something you are capable of doing. We take the licensing process incredibly serious. We take the education incredibly serious. You guys have all seen a timber framing manual before, but you haven't seen our timber framing, where we have them all tabbed up and custom made, where we just make these books, because these books are incredibly intimidating. We want to make it take away the intimidation factor, take away the fear factor, so that you're having your hand held, guided through the process. And if you do meet our criteria, we will guarantee you will not leave us until you pass. So that's the guarantee that we have. And we take that very seriously. And we want to make sure not just you're passing, but you're passing on the first attempt as many times as possible. However, if you're not passing on the first attempt, it is not a mark of shame. It's not something to be aware of. I'd rather have you failing 2 or 3 times and getting it on the 3rd or 4th time, but you're achieving it 3 or 4 years earlier than waiting for perfection. So that's probably my big takeaway. Number 1, get the right advice. Number 2, go as early as you can. And don't be afraid of failure, because it's not a failure in any way. It's opening the door for success as early as humanly possible. And if it's not a chance, we'll let you know it's not a chance. So it's not going to be embarrassing or anything. And if it means anything, you don't have to tell anyone you're doing it. Just lodge the application, wait for the success to come, and then let everyone know, okay, that's what I did. No one needs an audience for it. And if that makes it less intimidating for you, or it makes it less of a daunting process, then let us know. We're really excited. There's a wave of women coming through, particularly in the carpentry stage. Now, a lot of them are quite early in the registration process, so they may not be ready for the next 3 to 5 years. And that's okay. That's what we like, getting on the front foot here. So we'll get you through. Follow companies like Carpentry. So they do amazing things in the industry. It's really great support. If you're an apprenticeship, it's free. Why wouldn't you do it?
Wow, on that note, what a way to end. Thank you, Bianca and Nathan, firstly for taking the time, but also for sharing all of your firsthand knowledge and insights. To those of you, we will send you a recording of this post. Well, let's be honest, it'll be tomorrow. But it'll give you a chance to have a look over, and have a look over the slides as well for some information. I am 100% sure there will be further questions. There always is. And that is absolutely okay. It is a case of, as and when they pop up, please feel free to email myself. You all have my email, anyone at Carpentry Australia, or of course anyone at Builder Registration as well. One last thing before I say our final thank yous and let you all go, because we are a little over time. Apologies for that. We have a couple of upcoming networking events that we'd love you to join here in New South Wales. We'll have them across Sydney, Western Sydney, Illawarra and Central Coast LGAs. So if that is your sort of catchment area, please do stay abreast of all of the work that we're doing, because we'd love to have you along. There are also opportunities to not just meet other like-minded people, but to have some further upskilling opportunities. So whether that's around mental health or finances, or we're looking at safety elements that will all be credits towards builders licenses, that all experiences that will add value to your application as well. We'd love to have you along. Other than that, thank you so much, and we look forward to meeting you soon. And one last final thank you to you, Nathan and Bianca. Really appreciate the time, and catch you all soon.
Appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Bye.